So in case you're not aware, I waste a lot of my time writing long comments on YouTube videos. I write a lot of stupidly long comments because I can't help it really. I have a vague idea of something I want to say, and then as I start writing it gets longer and longer, and even if nobody does read it I feel happy because it's kind of like figuring out ideas for myself, if that makes sense. I don't think it makes sense. I'm an idiot. The point is, I'm saying all this because I want to talk about Boriswave, because yeah, that's the thing. Lo-fi Boriswave beats to relax / get Brexit done to. Uploaded by the Conservative Party itself.
Chance really to move this thing over the line. Parliament refused finally to give approval on for us to come out on October 31st, which was a great disappointment. We've got to get Brexit done.
I got sent a link to this the other week and I ended up writing a long comment analysing it because I found the whole thing so bizarre. And I suppose I thought I'd share my take on it with you. I've got the comment here beside me, I've got the video, and I'm just going to overanalyse what is definitely just a joke. But it's also a joke that says a lot of weird things about the world when you sit and think about it. Okay, first let's start with some context, because we're kind of in an age of internet culture where we're increasingly seeing big brands, late night hosts, politicians trying to pander to its audience by joining in with jokes shared on the internet. You know, trying to create memes, you get those companies on Twitter who write roasting replies whenever people tweet them with complaints because it makes them look cool. What I'm saying is, it wasn't that long ago Fortnite dances were a big thing among kids. Due to its internet popularity though, dances got jumped on by comedians and celebrities and every aging person who wanted to feel like they were still with it. And they ruined it for those kids. There's nothing that kills a joke quicker than seeing someone out of touch trying to join in with your joke. Boris, shut the fuck up. I'm not listening to that anymore. I'm replacing the audio. You get what it sounds like? It's that for more than an hour. That's not how it works. It's meant to be their thing, you know? Grown-ups have a salary and a house and can settle the rules. Kids have youth and their own little culture that parents are just too old to understand. As a side note, there's a great maturity in accepting times when you're too old and no longer with it. You know, if I'd been doing Fortnite dances when it was still a thing, it would have been cringy as hell because 24 is too old for that. You let kids have their own thing, just like I had Beyblades and Time Splitters when I was a kid. But the point of me saying all this is that this Boriswave video is pandering. It's the run-up to an election as well. It's not uncommon for politicians to pander to voters in the run-up to an election. It's just, this is a very odd way to do it, you know? But let me just start by describing what it's like to watch this video, because I did. I watched the entire thing while I wrote the very long comment, and I do regret it, but I did it. The first thing is that it fundamentally fails as a video to relax / study to, because Boris won't shut up, making it just impossible to concentrate. I found it so hard to write the comment. I just found myself getting increasingly irritated by his voice. It makes it difficult. Shut the fuck up, Boris. Which isn't ideal for the Conservative Party, because not only does it make listening to the music difficult, it makes Boris Johnson annoying, or more annoying than he already is. And to add to that, there's the fact that it's just the same few lines repeated over each song on this video. Lines that I think are all just from the exact same single sentence. Boris Johnson just tells us we need to get Brexit done so we can focus on putting money into the NHS, education and police officers. That's it. There's an hour and 11 minutes of this video being told again and again we need to get Brexit done so we can focus on putting money into the NHS, into education and into recruiting police officers. You just have to wonder, surely there was more Boris Johnson could be saying to pad out an hour and 11 minutes. Surely there's more worth quoting from him, not just one sentence over and over and over again. The effect is that it makes him seem like a one-note, repetitive politician who has no vision or plan beyond telling us we must get Brexit done so we can then focus on other things. Like, what are those other things we will then focus on? You know, well, we'll put money into the NHS, into education and police officers. Right, but do you have any sort of vision for the country? Have you thought about life after Brexit? Do you have a clear plan? Look, I know this... I know this video is a joke. I know Boris Johnson himself probably doesn't know this video exists, and it's just some sprightly pup in the Conservative Party thinking, if we make some stupid lo-fi video, maybe it will convince the voters we have a sense of humour, because having a sense of humour apparently makes us more electable. You know, and it shows the voters we're cool and hip. Maybe then the vast majority of young voters who support Labour or Lib Dem will vote for us because we know internet. Look, I know that, and I'm going to discuss that in a minute, but I want to finish taking this video seriously and analysing it like it is a serious piece of propaganda first. Let's discuss the visuals. Imagine they placed him on a train because it means you can easily put together a changing background without much fuss. Also, it's a public place that ordinary people use, therefore, I don't know, maybe it vaguely makes him look more in touch with ordinary people. The problem with choosing a train as the setting is that the one thing trains are notoriously known for in Britain is not working properly, not running, having delays, generally being shit compared to most other train services in the rest of the world. And one of the top comments on the video jokes about this. Can't be a northern train, it's moving and Boris has found a seat. The fact it is moving and Boris has found a seat, and the train itself actually looks quite nice, makes it all seem rather idealistic, as does the very bright, very sunny, clearly animated background. I imagine the sunny background was intended to convey a sense of Boris Johnson travelling towards a brighter future, yet it's so idealistic a picture that you instead get the impression that this is a train ride to Cuckoo Land. It makes it feel like Boris has gone mad, and the slight swaying of the train too, which feels more like a ship than a train, doesn't help. I'm saying you could easily picture this sort of scene in a movie where like the protagonist is starting to go a bit mad for whatever reason, and he's sitting on a train that's now swaying and he's looking out the window to see the world grow slowly more colourful and bright and weird looking. And of course there's the fact it's a looped background. The train isn't actually going anywhere, which is a pretty painful irony. You try to make a metaphor about Boris travelling to a brighter future, and yet he's actually travelling nowhere, which maybe also fits with this endless turmoil of Brexit. No matter how many times Boris tells us we must get Brexit done, it still isn't getting done. And suddenly that's a bit like the horror trope of becoming increasingly panicked, trying to escape from an empty house, but every door you open just leads into another room with more doors, and you can't ever quite get out. Boris is increasingly panicked, desperately repeating that we must get Brexit done, we must get it done, we must, all the while the train is getting no nearer. But that's just one way of looking at it. Boris Johnson has gone mad, imagining himself on a wonderful, colourful train, his mouth drooling, babbling the same phrase about getting Brexit done, whilst the nurse in the asylum just nods and says, "Yes, Mr. Johnson, you will get Brexit done," stuffing pills up his anus and strapping him into a straitjacket. The other way of viewing it is simply that Boris's political views are divorced from reality, and in this dreamland, which is ironically what Corbyn's often accused of. But anyway, I talked about this video pandering to an audience. It's a strange approach when you consider lo-fi mixes and homework edits appeal mostly to school kids who are too young to vote. That's just me saying that though. Leaving that aside, this video is an attempt for the Tories to enter the internet culture of lo-fi mixes with anime study girls on loop. Although he's not the best anime study girl. But I'm saying we're not meant to take it seriously. We're not meant to seriously sit and listen to this. If we were meant to, it would be some pretty shallow, outdated propaganda getting kids to sing along to the Get Brexit Done chorus. No, it's not that. It's meant to be a joke that goes, haha, look, we can do that thing you like. We're politicians, but we can pretend to make lo-fi and chill hop beats. Isn't that funny? Which is kind of the equivalent of Steve Buscemi saying, "How do you do, fellow kids?" Or Stephen Colbert doing the Fortnite dance, or back when I was a kid, school teachers trying to appeal to us by playing fucking Gangnam Style. It might be vaguely funny for a minute, but then it A, ruins something you had previously enjoyed, and B, makes this outdated old person look even more outdated and out of touch because of how desperate it makes him seem to connect. You know, did any of those old American Christians who made Jesus rap videos back in the 2000s really think it would do more to entice kids than just speaking sincerely and openly to them would? The effect of pandering is simply to make you appear insecure, desperate to be popular, hence why this video, rather than making you laugh and go, haha, the Tories did that thing we enjoyed, instead makes you laugh from cringing and say, ugh, what the fuck are the Tories doing? And that actually ties in quite neatly with the whole divorced from reality feel of the video, doesn't it? Instead of trying to reach us with a modicum of sincerity to face up to reality, they're instead dreamily imagining some shitty lo-fi video might do the trick. The thing is, Britain is a very grey place. There is charm to that, but it's no sunny isle, and we certainly don't have pink cherry blossom trees. Britain is grey, and whatever your political beliefs, we can all agree the country's a bit fucked at the moment. So what you want is a politician that can see that and can therefore begin to address how fucked it is. That might be Boris Johnson. I'm not getting into politics, but the way he's portrayed in this video, that's what I'm talking about. The way he's portrayed by this video makes him seem the complete opposite. Personally, I think we want to be talked to like genuine adults, not not bribed with shitty lo-fi mixes the way a stepdad palms you off with sweets and dumb gifts. This video is getting long now, so let me just end it by making a vaguely serious point for the first time. Do you think it's a problem that we do get brands and politicians attempting to enter the internet to do that thing we like and be our friends? You know, media and adverts and brands used to tell us what to like and to enjoy. And that's not ideal either, but you could always have your own interests outside of that stuff, unaffected by the brands and the adverts. Nowadays, instead of the media setting the trends we follow, it's us setting the trends and them desperately following us, desperately trying to keep up with memes and internet slang so they'll appeal to us still. And that does mean we have a lot more power in a way, but it also means brands are increasingly pretending to be our friends in a kind of shady way. I mean, the amount of ads I get, for example, for BBC or Channel 4 posting videos with captions like "that one friend who" or "that moment when," like they're pretending to be one of us, you know, or Paddy Power makes endless Simpsons references because that's what people my age do. They're putting on that mask that says, "I'm this cool young friend on the internet who likes the same stuff as you. Watch me cobble together your favourite pop culture references. Now be my friend." Which, if you think about it, is kind of similar to pedos pretending to be young on the internet as a means to attract kids under the pretense of being friends. Is that not a bit disturbing? And with technological advances, will brands get better at pretending to be our friends? Will they just get more and more effective at it until the line between a genuine friend and a false one is blurred and indistinct? Will that just continue until a new generation doesn't really have a concept of what sincerity, what a true friend is? You know, maybe 50 years from now, our young people will have a warped understanding of human connection and struggle to trust anyone at all. I hope not. And so I'm ending this video. I hope not. It's a good idea for a sci-fi story, nonetheless. Thanks for watching. This is a bit different, this video. Hopefully it's not too ridiculous. Hopefully see you next time.